Hello Internet, it's Sherry, and today I'm here with a story time, and it's probably going to be a long ass story time, so get a snack and sit down for this shit, because I'm going to tell you the story of how I got expelled from school. No, the title is not a clickbait. I did actually get expelled. I did help it, kind of, but I did get expelled twice, actually. So, little backstory. I am turning 22 in March and I'm graduating this year. So, in case you were like wondering why is this bitch a fucking 100 years old and she still hasn't graduated, this is the reason why. I am on my 4th high school right now. My first school didn't end with my expulsion, but it was just kind of too time consuming for me. Obviously school is time consuming, but I am a lazy piece of shit. And the Czech education system is very, very different from the American and all over the world. So you will probably like not completely understand what was like going on with my schools. But it doesn't really matter. So I left my first school after like 3/4 of the year. I just left. I was like, no, I'm fucking tired of this shit. And I had really bad transport to school. And I was like, no, this isn't for me. And it was a business school. We have high schools that have like their own categories. And so then I transferred to an English language based school. And I lasted about year and 3/4, I guess. And in my second year, I have been really like, mentally unstable. I wasn't in a good place. I was a fucking brat. I was 17 or 18 years old, and I was a fucking brat, and I do realize that. I was just so angry at the entire world, and I took it out on people. I also suffered from depression, and I just had days when I couldn't get out of bed, and there were many days like that. I couldn't get out of the bed in the morning. All I wanted to do was like lay in bed, not talk to anybody, and just like watch television, because that was my only escape from the real world. So I didn't go to school much. My teacher, our like class teacher, each teacher is assigned one class. They like deal with their absences and shit. So this teacher had like really, really annoying comments about me. Like, she mentioned something along the lines of me not going to school and that she would call like social services. And I was like, fuck no. Like, I'm 18 years old. I don't fucking have to be here. High school is not mandatory in our country. High school is something that you do because you don't want to end up like a prostitute. So it's not mandatory, so she couldn't call social services because I wasn't going to school, because I didn't have to go to school, and I was 18, so it was my fucking own big problem. Like, what the fuck? I was ranting on Twitter in that time a lot. I've kind of calmed down, but still, Twitter gets me in trouble a lot. I think I might just delete it because I'm exhausted. My Twitter is like read by the people who shouldn't read it. It's like the fucking New York Times. Whatever. It's social media. I shouldn't be surprised that people read it. That's out of the topic. So I went on Twitter and I called my teacher a bitch. Or like, I used a worse word than bitch. It was somewhere, I don't know the proper English equivalent for the word that I called her, but it was, in my language, it was pussy. So it was somewhere, I didn't go as far as a cunt, but it was harder than a bitch. And that's what I called her. But note that I hadn't had my real name on my Twitter. I still don't. My picture, her name wasn't mentioned, anything. And my classmate fucking hated me because of a guy, of course. She hated me so much. And she found my tweet and she showed it in our school. I was called into the principal's office to explain myself, and I went all like, I didn't go that defensive. I did that the second time. But I was like, well, you have no proof, but it was me and I'm sorry. Like, I shouldn't have said that. I was mad. And like, she has been practically bullying me. She kind of was. Like, she didn't make my situation any easier. And I don't want to throw myself like a pity party. I was an asshole. I was. I have also had so many mental issues. And I won't blame any of my bratty behavior on my mental issues. That's another topic whatsoever. But I was reacting to shit very, very badly. They called my parents into the school. I don't really know why, because I was 18. Like, what the fuck are you doing? This is my business. But okay, I don't know what my father said. I don't really care. But my mom came home and she was like, she's such a bitch. And I was like, that's what I fucking said. Like, of course, she is a bitch. And so my mom was like mad and she told me that she like demands an apology and shit. And I was like, well, I really don't want to do that, but if that's going to keep me in the school, like, that's what I'm gonna have to do. And so I went to see that teacher. I told her, I'm like, sorry, I like called her that. And she told me like, I don't want your apology. And I'm like, bitch, what the fuck? And she was just like, she was acting like a bitch. And I was done at this point. I knew that I didn't want to be in that school anymore because I was like partially suspended. It meant that every time that I would be missing from school and I didn't have a doctor's note, I would get like full on expelled. Like nothing. I couldn't oversleep, anything. I would just get expelled if I missed one fucking class. And I was just, at this point I was so fucking done with that shit. And I was like, well, then you can't be surprised I called you what I called you. And I left. And in the meantime, I already like applied myself to a law school. And I was like so excited for that school. I was like, okay, I am going to be a lawyer. I'm really good at arguing. Like, I could be a lawyer. Little did I know, I was watching a lot of Suits, like, don't blame me. So I applied to that school and they agreed to take me into like second year because I had already finished my first year. So I went to that other school, the law school. And I was super excited for it. The only thing that bugged me was that I got German language as my second language. In Czech schools, we obviously learn Czech and then we do 2 other foreign languages, which is English and then one another. And for me, it has always been French. I have studied French for 6 years, I guess. It was around 6 years, because I have studied French ever since elementary school. They got me the fucking German language, and I hate that language to this day, and I will never, ever, ever learn it. I really wanted Russian. Like, they had no option for French class. So it was either German or Russian. And I was like, fuck, I want Russian, but they never offered me that. So I had to go with German language. And so I did. And I did try. I honestly did try. I was already like few years behind everybody else, and I did try to catch up. I had to take a test to compare my knowledge with the other students, and the only condition was that I couldn't get an F. If it was above F, I would be good. I would be good to go. I got a D. And I was like, thank you so much to the teacher. I was like, thank you so much. Like, I really was grateful that she gave me a D so that I could pass. I was like, thank you so much. And she went like, don't worry, I'm going to collect it at the end of the year. Which, even the way that she said it was so obvious that she was going to flunk me at the end of the year. That she was just going to let me think this entire year that everything is peaches and butterflies and that I'm like, going to pass, and that she would flunk me at the end of the year. And me and my stupid ass went to Twitter again. This time my Twitter was super anonymous. Really, no photos of me, not my name, not my school, not her name, anything. But I proceeded to go there and called her a German slut. And the same bitch from the last school went onto my Twitter again and sent that tweet along with an email to my new school. Bitch, did you really fucking do that? Really? And so I went to the principal's office. They didn't even call in my parents. Like, that was cool with me. So I got called into the principal's office and they just slid that email on the table. Like, what the fuck was that? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know, why do you think this is mine? And they're like, well, there's an email attached that it confirms that it's yours. And I'm like, well, I don't have a picture there. There's not my name, not the name of the school, not the name of the teacher. Oh, like, you have absolutely no proof that this is mine. And they were so set on just claiming that it's mine. Like, it was, but they had no proof. And I was like, well, I don't think that this is bad. Like, it doesn't shame anyone in a personal matter. They were like, well, it does. And I'm like, it could be about fucking anybody. Anybody on this entire planet that speaks German could be called a German slut. I was so mad at that moment. Because they didn't even give me, like, a benefit of the doubt. They just went with the fact that it was mine, even though there was no proof. And I'm like, okay, I'm fucking done with this shit. I left the principal's office, and I think that I was supposed to get back to class. But they told me, they specifically told me, to come back tomorrow, that they will talk about it if they are going to expel me, or like how they are going to punish me, to come back tomorrow to find out. So I went to the bathroom and I called my ex-boyfriend. If you're watching this, hi, you know who you are. And I called him and I knew that he had so many connections with people and that people, like, you know, owed him favors and shit. I just knew that shit. And I was panicked. I didn't want to go onto another school because I already wasted almost another year there. And so I called him and I told him the entire situation, and he told me that he has a connection there and that he would try to turn the tables into my favor. And then I proceeded to go home. I was in no mood to go back to class. Fuck no. And I was thinking, and I was like, well, I can't stay in that school. Like, they are just so set on hating me right now. And the teacher is going to flunk me and she is going to punish me for this. And there is no fucking chance that I could ever graduate on that school. And so I kind of overnight decided that, like, fuck it. And this was a private school. I forgot to mention that. This was a private school, so I paid my fucking tuition and I paid it out of my own pocket. This was another factor. I also didn't go to school much. I still don't go to school much because I have to work. And so many teachers still don't understand that. That some people do have to work. I'm again in a private school, but this school is so much better. Like, I'm actually happy there because people are actually understanding. So there, I paid my tuition. So you would expect that they would try to keep you because of the money. Obviously not. So in the morning, I decided to tell my mom. At that point I was actually crying because I knew that it was going to disappoint her so much that I am getting expelled again for the same shit that I did before. And so I told her, and she was mad. She was really mad. And I went there like, Mom, they are going to tell me if they're expelling me or not. And in my head I was already decided to just quit. And move on with my fucking life. I didn't want to spend another minute in that school. And so I went to the school. The principal's deputy was standing in the door and she was like, I'm waiting for you. You were supposed to be here yesterday. And I'm like, no, I wasn't. You told me to come today. That you needed time to decide. You told me to come today. She was like, no, it was yesterday, but it doesn't matter now. And she was like, we decided to give you a C from behavior and a partial expulsion again. And I was like, well, actually, I came here to tell you that I quit. I don't want to be here anymore. She was like, okay, this is your decision. We're giving you a chance. I'm like, I don't want it. This was the exact same shit as it was in the previous school. And I was like, I don't want to be here on a fucking trial, whatever. Like, one misstep and I'm out. Like, this is not what I'm fucking here for. And so I went there and I quit the school, and which meant that I had to go. I don't know what's it called. It's when you're unemployed and you're not studying and you're an adult. You have to sign there. It's a state institution, I think. So I had to go there for 4 months, and I have applied to the school that I'm at now, which is also a private school again, and I won't talk about that school because I do not want to waste another years of my life. Thank you very much. But no, I am really happy in that school, but I can't wait to finally graduate and have this shit over with. Because high school in my age is really fucking exhausting, especially if you have to work. So yeah, that is the story of how I got expelled twice for the same stupid shit. The moral lesson of this video is probably don't post anything on social media that could incriminate you. Even if you think that you're super anonymous and like nobody can reach it or whatever, just don't post incriminating shit on social media. And I'm still kind of learning that lesson because I've gotten into trouble because of Twitter many more times after that. Even recently. That is a completely different story. So yeah, don't post shit on social media, especially if there are people who hate you, like they do me. Can't say that I'm surprised, honestly. So that was it for this video. Thank you for watching. If you like this and you would like more story times, please subscribe to my channel, leave a like, leave a comment, share your experience, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!